What if a company's social programs weren't just a line item on a budget, but were actually its most powerful engine for profit? Well, today we're digging into a fantastic study on Nike that shows exactly how doing good for the community can directly fuel the bottom line.
You know, for the longest time, the conventional wisdom has been that corporate social programs are basically a cost. A nice thing to have, sure, but ultimately an expense. But what if that's a totally false choice? This explainer dives into a pretty radical idea. What if the very things you do to help society could also make your company more competitive?
And this really gets to the heart of the problem. A lot of these social programs, even with the best intentions, just don't stick around. Why? Because they're seen as separate from the real business. They're vulnerable, and frankly, they're often the first things on the chopping block when the economy gets a little shaky.
Okay, so let's get into this powerful alternative idea. It's a concept called creating shared value, or CSV for short. And I want to be clear, this isn't just another piece of corporate jargon. It's a completely different way of looking at business strategy.
So, what exactly is creating shared value? Well, the core idea is that you're building business strategies that create social value in a way that also creates economic value at the exact same time. It's not a trade-off. It's about designing a single strategy where helping the community and making a profit are totally intertwined.
Now, to really get what makes CSV so different, it helps to put it side by side with something we're all familiar with, corporate social responsibility, or CSR. You see, CSR is often a reaction. It's about managing your reputation, maybe donating some money. It's about redistributing the profits you've already made. CSV, on the other hand, is proactive. It's internally driven. It's not about slicing up the pie differently. It's about making the entire pie bigger for everyone, the company, the community, the whole shebang.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's jump into our case study and see how one of the biggest brands on the planet, Nike, is making this happen.
The research we're looking at really zeroes in on the Nike Plus Run Club in Greater China. And the program itself is beautifully simple. Nike offers free professional-level marathon training to everyday people in big cities like Beijing and Shanghai. On the surface, it's just a great community health program.
And this is where you can see that shared value model just come to life. Look at the social side. It gets people healthier. They meet new friends. They build a real community. Awesome, right? But then look at the economic value for Nike. The training starts at Nike stores, which means more foot traffic. People get to try out the latest running shoes for free, which is the best sales pitch there is. It's a perfect self-reinforcing loop.
And the numbers absolutely prove this isn't just some feel-good theory. Check out the social impact, a 20% jump in people running at least 3 times a week. That is a real, measurable improvement in public health. That's social value you can see. Now, let's flip to the economic side. Over that same time frame, the average amount of money these runners spent on shoes shot up by almost $80. That social program is directly translating into more sales, period. And it's not just about spending more money one time. It's about building loyalty. The number of runners who said Nike was their preferred brand jumped by over 8%. This program isn't just selling shoes. It's creating die-hard Nike fans.
So, okay, we've clearly established that the community wins and Nike wins. But the study wanted to peel back another layer. What's going on inside the company? How does all of this affect the employees who are actually on the ground making these run clubs happen?
And honestly, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because a strategy is just a nice idea on a PowerPoint slide, unless the people on your team are genuinely fired up to execute it. You can't create shared value if your employees don't truly buy into the vision.
To get to the bottom of this, the researchers focused on 2 key psychological ideas. The first one is called vision integration. Now, this is more than just memorizing a mission statement. It's when employees personally adopt the company's vision as their own internal compass for how they approach their job, day in and day out.
The second big idea is work engagement. And this is really the motivational engine. It's that feeling of being energized, dedicated, and just completely absorbed in what you're doing. When you're truly engaged, your work feels meaningful and inspiring.
All right, let's get to the good stuff, the results. What the study uncovered is this incredibly powerful chain reaction, a kind of virtuous cycle that directly connects the company's big picture strategy to the individual performance of its employees.
So here it is, the study's key finding laid out in one model. Now, I know it might look a little complex, but it tells a very simple and powerful story about how purpose can drive performance. Let's break it down piece by piece. It all kicks off right here. When Nike's employees see with their own eyes that their company is creating real social good and business success, their job stops being just a job. It becomes a mission. And as a result, that vision integration we talked about, it just skyrockets.
Okay, so what happens next? Well, that deep sense of personal buy-in acts like a catalyst. When your personal goals are aligned with the company's vision, your work suddenly has so much more meaning. And that alignment fuels a massive boost in work engagement. People feel more energy, more dedication, because they genuinely believe in what they're doing.
And here is the final, crucial link in the chain. That powerful combination of having an integrated vision and being deeply engaged at work leads directly to better job performance. We're talking more productive, more effective employees who are better at their core duties, which of course helps the company do even better. It all feeds itself.
The researchers who did the study really summed it up perfectly right here. The big takeaway is that creating shared value isn't just some external PR move. It's a powerful internal tool for making your entire workforce more productive.
So this is all fascinating for a massive company like Nike. But what about the rest of us? How can you, as a leader or a manager, actually make this work for your own team? Well, the study gives us some really practical advice.
They give 2 key strategies. First, don't just talk about your vision, show it. They call this image-based prescription. Basically, it means using things like role-playing, live demos, and really clear visual examples to make an abstract vision feel real and tangible. And second, and this is so important, involve your employees in creating the vision itself. When people get to help shape the goal, they are way more likely to adopt it as their own.
And all of this leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. This Nike case study shows a clear, powerful link between purpose, motivation, and profit. So you have to wonder, is this model, where a company's success is fundamentally tied to social progress, not just a cool strategy for a few companies, but maybe, just maybe, the future of business itself?